One of the greatest gifts in life is to have something that makes you feel complete. It could be golf, tennis, gardening, or whatever makes you feel happy. Today's guest, at the age of 76 years young, has many physical activities that add to her life, and one of them is ice skating. Please join us and discover more about this amazing woman.
Welcome to The Better Part, a program by and for seniors and devoted to exploring the many facets of those better years of our lives. The name of our program was inspired by a quotation from Robert Browning. Grow old along with me, the best is yet to be, the last of life for which the first was made. Now, sit back and enjoy a program made especially to provide seniors with useful information, plus some lighter moments to brighten your day.
Please welcome my beautiful and talented guest, Barbara Vitkovits. Thank you for being with us today. Barbara, I am pleased that you have invited one of your skating partners. Let's take time and introduce him.
Lynette, this is United States national competitor Brent Holdberg.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being with us and for taking so much time out of your busy schedule.
That's not a problem.
Barbara, at what age did you start skating?
I was 3 years of age.
That's very young.
Yes, well, my father loved to skate, and he took me with him when he went skating, so it was a part of my childhood.
Oh, that's wonderful. Brent, what made you to start wanting to skate? And how old were you?
I was 7 years old, and I grew up in Dallas, Texas. And it was very hot in the summers, and we needed something to do to keep cool. All the other kids would play soccer and all the outdoor sports and, pass out from the heat, so I decided why not go inside and try some ice skating.
Barbara, there is a picture in the newspaper of you and your father skating. Why are you both in the newspaper?
Well, skating was in its infancy, and figure skating, of course, had been introduced by Sonia Heaney around that time, and people were very much interested in the activity. And the fact that I was so young and paired with my father and a bit of a daredevil and liked to be spun around upside down, I guess they thought that was of interest.
It sounds very exciting.
It was a lot of fun.
And it was nice to have something that also had your father there. And
oh, absolutely. That's a very important part of it.
Oh, yes. At what age did you and your parents decide that you should take professional skating?
Well, in those days, it appears that parents decided everything. I don't think I had anything to say about it, but I was delighted when my dad asked if I would like to skate during the summer in St. Paul, Minnesota. I grew up in Milwaukee, and there was no indoor rink in Milwaukee, so my mother, my sister, and I spent the summer in St. Paul at the summer program there. I was 10 years of age, which at that time was considered quite young. However, skating is different today, and the children are very expert at a much younger age.
What type of classes did you take, or did you train with a professional ice skater?
To my knowledge, there were no skating classes during that period. This was in 1941 when I took my first professional instruction, and it was on a one-to-one basis. Of course, I had been taking ballet from the age of 2 because little girls in those days all took ballet lessons. So it was a great benefit.
When you were taking your classes, how many hours did you devote to the training?
Well, the more intense skating was done during the summer in St. Paul. I skated probably 5 hours a day. But during the remainder of my life, not having a rink in Milwaukee except for the outdoor rinks, I didn't train that hard, but I was involved in other activities. I rode horses, and we had a cottage at the lake, so we swam and sailed boats, and it did a lot of fun activities as a youngster. But skating was part of a family activity, so we did a great deal of that during the winter.
You mentioned briefly, I believe, about taking ballet and all that sort of stuff. Did that help you with your ice skating?
Oh, absolutely. It's an extremely important part of skating.
Do they have teachers or instructors that focus on young adults who are skating and also doing dance?
I think Brent could answer that more effectively because this is a part of the world that he's been in.
Brent, could you do that for us?
Sure. As far as dance instructors at a low level, dance is not involved in skating. They just learn basic skating. Most kids want to learn how to jump, but when they decide they want to go into an ice dancing specialty, then there are a few ice dancing coaches that are available, but not that many high-level coaches across the country. Maybe in America, 5 or 6 coaches in specialized training areas such as San Jose, Detroit, Marlborough, Massachusetts, and Delaware are the main ones.
How does a parent find a good skating instructor for their children?
I'll let you take this, Barbara.
An excellent skater may not necessarily be a good teacher, so I would recommend looking at students whose skating you admire, talking to parents, and deciding who is teaching these children.
I would say that at the younger ages or the lower levels of skating, you need to find a coach that has a better personality that matches with you rather than skating and teaching abilities. I think if you're having fun, it'll go a lot better. You'll enjoy yourself a lot more on the ice, and you'll learn more. As you progress more, you may want to switch coaches to somebody that's more well-known, and by that time you will know from talking to other skaters who are the higher level coaches in the area.
Well, that's the same theory. Whatever you enjoy
Absolutely.
and love, you do much better.
Mm-hmm.
Brett, when did you decide to make skating your career?
That's a good question. I'm going to have to say around 13 or 14 years old, I decided that I was going to homeschool and just pursue skating full time and make that my career. I've known Brian Boitano, the 1988 Olympic gold medalist, for most of my life, and I kind of always wanted to be on that spotlight, go on tour, and make my money that way. So I decided, why not? It's unique. Not many people do this, so let's go for it.
Now, how did you meet him?
My mom was friends with his friend back right before he won the Olympics, and I wasn't a skater yet. So we just happened to know each other when we lived in Foster City in the late 80s. So we just happened to know him, and then a few years later when I moved to Texas, I started skating, and we've kept in touch ever since then.
How exciting.
Yeah.
So he really is a guiding light and inspiration for you.
Yeah, he is.
Now we're going to transfer back to Barbara, to her exciting life when she started performing with Shipstead and Johnson's Ice Follies. How did that come about?
Well, I had spent 2 years in college and really had no idea what I was doing there. And Ice Follies was playing in Chicago. We lived in Milwaukee. And one day I took my skates, got on a train, and went down to Chicago. And fortunately, Oscar Johnson, one of the owners, happened to be on the premises at the arena there, and I skated for him and returned home, and 24 hours later they called and said, "Can you be here in 48 hours?"
Now tell me, did you feel glamorous being part of the Ice Follies?
I don't believe so. Most of us were in our late teens. We were came from rather sheltered homes. It was a family show, and we sort of took it for granted. When I look back at it now, I think that it was quite a glamorous life. We were the premier form of entertainment in the country. There was no ice dancing in the Olympics. Competitive ice skating was focused on school figures, which the public found very boring. So we were really considered celebrities. We were accustomed to giving our autograph. We traveled by private train, and when we arrived in the city, we were photographed. We had to get off the train wearing our heels and coats and hats and white gloves. But mostly we took it for granted.
I have to say that I would think there would be a lot of work in these wonderful productions. And you also traveled a lot. How did you like both?
Well, actually, we didn't work very hard while we were traveling. Our engagements were anywhere from 10 days, normally 2 weeks, sometimes a month in major cities like Chicago, New York. In San Francisco, we worked the hardest. We were in San Francisco for 3 months, which enabled us to rent apartments. Sometimes we would get together with other girls and rent an entire house. And during the day, between 10 and 2, 5 days a week, we worked on the new show during June, July, and August. And at night, 7 days a week, and on 2 matinees on the weekends, we did the old show. So we worked quite hard during the summer. But right after Labor Day, we closed the old show in San Francisco and then went to LA for a hugely glamorous Hollywood premiere at the Pan Pacific Auditorium, complete with Klieg lights and 3 rows of movie stars all the way around the rink, which they were required to come for publicity purposes, and the cocktail party and the big party afterwards at the Beverly Hills Hotel, and it was very glamorous. We dressed up in our cocktail gowns and mingled with the celebrities.
Who did you enjoy meeting the most? There was probably so many, that's going to be hard probably to answer.
I personally didn't, but some of my friends had hilarious experiences during the audience participation numbers. Briefly, one of the girls was required to go to the audience and ask some gentleman to stand up while she pinned a boutonniere on his lapel, and Clark Gable was in the section that she was assigned. And this was Richard Dwyer's number, the girls in long gowns. She had long black velvet gloves on, and she pinned her glove to his lapel. So the spotlights were on them, and the other girls had moved back to the set, and here she is resplendent in her long black gown and large hat, and she's attached to Clark Gable's lapel with the pin from the boutonniere. So he said, "I'll tell you what, young lady, I'll take my coat off and you can throw it over your shoulder." And she began to panic because now all the spotlights were on her, so he reached up and he just pulled her glove out, ripped the end out of the glove, but at least it freed her from the attachment.
When did you decide to leave the Ice Follies?
I left in 1954. I had skated with them for almost 4 years. I was now 24 years old. And like most of the skaters, spending 3 months a year in San Francisco and then 1 month in LA, the month of September, we had the entire summer in California. Most of us wanted to settle out here. And I still wanted to travel. But I wanted a home base. I didn't want to be on the road 12 months of the year. So I moved to Los Angeles and became a stewardess for Western Airlines, where I encountered more celebrities. I was fortunate to connect with a national level skater who was also an Ironman triathlete, and he was 32 years younger than myself. And I was now fully addicted to this. I had the time and means that I could devote to skating. An activity like this fills you with so much energy. The endorphins start to flow. And I think even more importantly, when you pair yourself with an excellent skilled skater such as Brent here, who is a delightful, handsome, skilled wonderful young man, and the thought in the ice skating is that the male presents and takes care of the female skater. So here we have everything. You know, Daddy's going to take me skating. We have this romantic young man who is now in this position to help you skate in a way that I couldn't possibly skate by myself. Well, about 7 or 8 years ago, Sergei Ponomarenko and his magnificent wife, Marina Klimova, came to the San Jose area to teach, and they were the 92 Olympic champions, 3 times world champions, and he has been called the greatest ice dancer that ever lived. And having seen them skate and seeing their pictures, they are, in my estimation, a class by themselves.
So you had heard of them and were very excited about this opportunity.
But on several occasions I went down to the rink and I was so totally intimidated, as I have said before. In fact, someone gave me 4 lessons with him, and I went down and talked to him, and he was just as nice as he could be, and he said, "Oh yes, call me." He gave me his phone number, but I was too intimidated to go back.
Oh.
I wanted to skate every day, and of course I no longer have the restrictions that I can't do that. So he generously assigned this wonderful young man to skate with me to fill in, and Brent has been most kind, most generous, and most supportive. He has saved me on countless occasions from going over on the back of my head. And of course, Sergei teaches his male students that it's their responsibility to take care of the girl.
I'm glad you said that, because I wanted to show a couple of clips of Sergei and also yourself with Barbara. And that
the man has to be the base for everything to happen from there. So he's responsible.
So you're talking about the strength and
keeping like a dance frame, and that way the lady can do expression and do the more feminine moves, turns and lifts and everything. But the guy has to be there to be strong and hold her and support her and protect her. A lot of times there's other teams coming around or other skaters that aren't watching, and it's always been taught to me that if you're going to get hit, you've got to protect the girl, and you're supposed to take the hit yourself. So, that's what I was kind of raised up.
Oh, so it wasn't just from Sergei.
It wasn't just from Sergei. He was a little bit more strict about it, as far as if the team fell, no matter whose fault I felt it was my fault.
What a responsibility.
Yeah.
Now, what's going to be coming up to me, I thought was incredible. This part here where he picks you up, and it's so graceful.
I haven't done anything like this for many, many years, so we had to limit ourselves to 2 or 3 revolutions. Otherwise, I was too dizzy to stand up when he put me down.
Now, here's Sergei.
Well, this dance is a fairly elementary dance. It's called the Willow Waltz. Both Sergei and I enjoy the waltzes because we love the music and the flow. It's a fun dance to do. It has nice flow and nice edging.
Now, when you say edging, what does that mean? I know it sounds technical.
Well, in dancing, you rarely skate a straight line. It's the deep curve that you make riding in either the inner edge or the outer edge of the blade, going either forwards or backwards. This is the Viennese waltz. It's a higher level dance. It has more intricate footwork and, again, some very deep edging.
Yes, I can see where it's, you do have to be careful of your feet with 4 legs out there.
This is the quick step. This is another high-level dance. We particularly enjoy doing this. Sergei, of course, skates down to my level of ability. It has some close footwork, including that Choctaw. Something interesting, there are names like Choctaw and Mohawk in the dances, and those names were devised by a very early skater called Jackson Haynes. He also originated the Jackson Haynes spin, which is now called the sit spin.
Now Sergei, he's the majesty of the Russian world.
He certainly is. He's been on the Olympic podium 3 times, accepting first the bronze, then the silver, and finally the gold medal in 1992, and has 3 world championships and has been acclaimed as the greatest male ice dancer in the world. Now, of course, he has to limit his style a bit to accommodate my skating.
You two were absolutely amazing out there. And Sergei, I'm going to have Barbara introduce you because you both have such wonderful last names. Barbara, will you do us the honor of introducing yourself?
Well, I'm Barbara Vitkovets, and this is my coach, the 1992 Olympic gold medalist in ice dancing, Sergei Ponomarenko.
Hello.
Welcome. Now, you have a tremendous background, as Barbara has mentioned. You and your wife, Marina, and now you're in the United States and you're teaching skating to a wide range of children as well as adults. What is that range?
Well, that's from 5 to forever.
76.
To 90.
So there's hope for all of us, huh? Well, the things you have done, and how did you two get together?
Well, Barbara cannot live without skating, so
Isn't that marvelous?
yeah. So all the other coaches she skated with dead now. So I'm the only survivor, so I cannot leave her.
Now, do you want to tell your share of the story?
Well, actually, Sergei has been here for 7 years, and I approached him on at least 3 or 4 occasions, and I was so totally intimidated I went home. But I came into a dance session one Sunday, and I said, is that who I think that is out there actually skating with one of the ladies? And they said, yeah, that's His Majesty himself. So I approached him. I told him how old I was. I said, I probably won't learn very much, but I said, all I want to do is skate once with you before I depart from this earth. And he said, you can skate lots of times with me. And this was a year ago, and I've just been deeply honored that the man with this incredible talent and dedication and everything that he's put into becoming who he is, that he shares this greatness with someone like myself.
It's very comfortable to skate with Barbara, very comfortable. And we do gold level dances, and we can do pre-golds, golds, international dances, no problem. We can do even certain patterns of those dances. She's in really good shape. And I'm lost my way too now, so she's making me in shape too.
Due to her.
Yeah.
Well, it's a match made in heaven then, all the way around. Well, you know, you both were such an inspiration. I don't know, maybe all the seniors will want to be coming to you. But I don't think that's going to work, so.
And I need to work 24 hours.
Well, thank you both very much for talking with us. It's been our pleasure, and I do want to thank you, Sergei, for being so kind. And Barbara, we'll be talking to you soon when we actually interview at more depth. Thank you for this honor. Bye-bye.
Thank you for that. Nice.
I need to run.
Well, now, it's very exciting that both of you have worked so well together, and I can tell that this has been kind of... with Barbara not skating for 3 weeks, then that she's missed it.
No,
and
I
she's
know.
missed you. So I'm hoping you two will get back to that.
We're going to put her in some hard training, make her do some, laps.
Oh, good.
Run a couple miles, get going.
Well, we'll have to come down and watch
That's
that
right.
one.
That's right.
You know, Barbara brought these wonderful skates.
Oh, my gosh, I know.
And tell us just a little bit about this. I think they're wonderful. And the age that you were when you wore these.
Well, I was, the picture in the paper where just prior to turning 5, I'm obviously wearing those skates. I must have had rather big feet.
They look small to me, but I guess if you're 5 years older.
But skates were not available for small young children at that time, and those were handmade by John the shoemaker, who was around the corner from our home. The blades were also handmade, and that's all I know about them. But
that's quite a craftsmanship.
It's and those skates are at least 70 years old, and I am impressed with the condition that they're in.
Yeah.
They are. The leather
I think the leather must have been, but they're very high compared. The boots would be probably half that high now, and that strap around the top is a no-no. You leave that area loose so that you can bend the ankle.
Oh,
now.
I see. Okay.
And also the boots today are very heavily padded inside for support, whereas those were not.
Well, I wish we had asked you to bring your new ones that are, again, handcrafted. And I bet there's a big difference between this one.
There's a huge difference.
Even if you were 5 years old when you wore this. Well, this has been a wonderful, wonderful interview. I want to thank both of you for giving us the insight on the skating. And also, Barbara, thank you for being such a inspiration for everyone. It's important to spoil yourself doing something that truly makes you happy at any age, and also keep active. The better part is for you, and our goal is to produce shows that are meaningful to you. If you have a topic or a guest you would like to see on The Better Part, or if you are interested in joining our crew, contact us. Perhaps you are interested in purchasing one of our DVDs or a tape from any of our shows. You may contact The Better Part by calling the Cupertino Senior Center at 408-777-3150 or visit our website, thebetterpart.com. Thank you for joining us, and enjoy life.